Dennis stresses all this police background. One, he hasn't been a cop since before we all had cell phones. I mean, it's been
well, you've never been a cop.
It's been a long time.
You never wore uniform.
I didn't say I did. I'm
never
saying
did.
this. Dennis has not been in the police force for 2 decades, roughly.
Yes.
He left the police force early. As I walk around the city, I get a different take on what type of police officer you were, Dennis. I get all kinds of people telling me all kinds of things.
Well, let's talk about that, Bill.
Are you ready to open up your record as a police officer?
Let's talk about that, Bill. I was a highly decorated police officer. Was I aggressive? Yes. I worked in high crime areas, Mr. Montgomery, and let me tell you this. My clearance rate for homicide was almost 99.9%. I was the guy that made it better for you to be able to walk out at night at 9 o'clock. And you can remember when I was on the police force, Mr. Montgomery, Wilmington was safe.
Oh, really?
Yes, it was.
Really? Well,
yes, it was.
Again, to my question, will you open up your records? Because your records are sealed. We don't know what kind of officer you really were.
Why should I open my records up? Did you ask anybody else up here to open anything up?
You're the only one trying to pull this
pull
cop
what, Mr.
card.
Montgomery?
But are you saying something?
Cop card?
Are you saying something may be in his records? I mean, what are you implying here?
I'm saying that the impression I get from talking to people in the community was that he was tough on people in the community. This whole get tough approach is something that he's been practicing for years. What's in the record that we don't want to see?
Mr. Montgomery, I worked robbery and homicide. When you go after a person...
There was no homicide unit, by the way.
But I worked robbery and homicide, Mr. Montgomery. Okay. That's what it was called. Again, I understand you don't understand because you never wore the uniform. Let me finish this.
Go ahead, you can. Go ahead. That's cool.
When you go after a person who's wanted for murder, who's killed 2 people, and you go into a building, Mr. Montgomery, you have to be tough. I had 3 little girls and a wife.
There are times to be tough.
And I had to make sure I went home that night.
There are times to be tough. There are also times to respect the rights
of the citizens. Mr. Montgomery, when you know police officers get shot, Mr. Montgomery, we go after people. We have to make sure that we come back in one piece, Mr. Montgomery. But since you never wore a uniform, I understand why you don't know how that feels and what that's about.
Let's fast forward to now, because we want to know what we're going to do to get real results right now. And the clear and present danger for our city is that we do not have a homicide unit. That's the fatal flaw of your plan.
We got a phone call. We got a phone call. Hold for 1 second. Hold for 1 second. How you doing? Welcome to the show. I'm sorry. Welcome to the show.
Yes. My name is Sylvester Stansbury, and I'd like to have the panel comment on what they're going to do as far as opening up some community centers, maybe opening up Jackson Street Boys Club, and possibly setting aside some money for the summer jobs program, because I think that's the major problem. That's why we're having all these homicides and killings, is because the kids don't really have any place to go.
Thank you, Mr. Stansbury. I don't want to cut you off. We just can't have speeches in that. Go ahead. You want to start?
Yeah. What was his question?
Talk about
Go ahead, Mr. Liddell. I'm sorry.
Well, about community centers. So if you answer that, gentlemen, I'll have a follow-up.
Well, I think it's very vital, and the new administration, the Boulevard administration, want to bring forth a new revenue stream, and a part of that process is going to open up community centers, start getting things done for children. You know, we lost Jackson Street Boys Club, we lost Campy Pool, and we don't know what else we're going to lose. So we have to be more creative as a government to bring this type of stuff back. I'm going to pass the mic because we ain't dealing with a lot of time, but vote Bovell.
We're going to keep safe havens open, expand them. We're going to ask nonprofits to really think outside the box in serving young people, churches as well. Jackson Street Boys and Girls Club was a decision made by the Boys and Girls Club because of the crime in the neighborhood.
The city controls one center, and that's West Center City, Hicks Anderson Center. We don't have, again, the money to fund all this. We put some limited money to keep the other 10 centers in the city open a little later. That's about the best we can do right now until the economy turns around. That's this sad truth.
I will work with all the superintendents to keep all the schools open from Monday through Saturday, try to keep the gyms open, computer rooms. We'll also keep the centers open. We will try to fund and keep the pools open the pools up in May instead of waiting until June, 2 weeks before the kids get out of school. I think it's a mess when they have to wait 2 weeks until they get out of school and the pools are filling up, and then they go to the pools. We also will look at parks and recreations and programs that we have to invent that changes things going out into the community, creating some more.
With the cost of murders being millions of dollars, we're going to find a way to put the emphasis on our youth instead of just economic development. Sean Allen's right. We got to connect with the youth. We got to bring them to the table. I said to the Rotary Club, why not invite the youth at a table for a luncheon function? As mayor, Spence administration will bring some of the youth to a function so they can see what is at risk for them in the future, and we can do this together when they know that they have an opportunity not worth losing.
Gentlemen, you had a question?
It
Okay,
doesn't matter.
well, this is a follow-up, a final follow-up probably on law enforcement. We heard you go back and forth this and other debates about your strategies and what you believe is permissible and not. Very bluntly and specifically, could you all go over what police tactic you believe crosses the line and should not be done, and what police tactic is acceptable? What police tactic would submit the city to lawsuits and all the rest with liability? Mr. Williams before brought up liability, reference county, city policing crossing lines. Specific tactics, what's permissible, what is not permissible in your view?
Like 30 seconds.
It's when you violate the Fourth Amendment, unreasonable search and seizure. If you do surveillance, then you can do jump out squads, but you do surveillance, you know who your target is. You know who you're going after. You know who had firearms and narcotics on them. But at least not, Mr. Montgomery wouldn't know that because he was never a police officer. That's why he keeps talking about American civil liberties.
The most egregious thing would be the stop and frisk, stopping people for no good cause. You've got to have just cause before you stop anybody out on the street. There are some cities want to do this stop and frisk. It doesn't work, and it will get us sued very badly.
Jump out squads have proven to be ineffective. Arresting people has been proven to be ineffective. What has been proven to be effective? Community policing, where police are in neighborhoods, securing neighborhoods and making them safe and a prosperous place to live and work.
20 seconds on this.
Just being more listen to me, police and people friendly. That's it. The officers just need to have a different approach, and they're going into the communities and going into the neighborhoods and being aggressive. I think if we just start taking a more personal approach and talking to families, talking to people, getting a relationship built, we're going to have a safer Wilmington.
Violating our communities and probable cause with jump out squads, we're crossing the line. The way to bring it back is community policing and youth aid division. The youth aid division, when it was in place, made a great connection for our youth in the future.
Hi, yes. Good evening, everyone. My name is Alfred Lance, and I believe I represent a number of people in the city of Wilmington who see the city of Wilmington for more than just our crime situation. While I look forward to working with my community to support the good work of the WPD, I'm 31 years old, and I don't plan on holding myself up in my home until we get the crime situation taken care of. So what I would like to know is what each of you would do to bring more young professionals to the city of Wilmington, to keep the ones that here exist and expand the quality of life for young people, not just young people under the age of 18, but to make sure that Wilmington is a bright and vibrant city.
Very good
Thank
question.
you.
If you guys could, we're really running out of time.
All right, what I want to do is work with the entrepreneurial community and find activities that we will find most attractive to bringing the young professionals here, and obviously making a safe place with a homicide unit so they have confidence to set up their small businesses here.
Well, first of all, we got to make it safe, but second of all, I like to work with Mike Schwartz, the area of Loma. I like to do more lofts. I like to create more activities for young people to participate in, young people want to go to, young people to live downtown. It'd be things for them to do. There's a building downtown that belongs to the state. I would like to get that building, make it a bowling alley. There's quite a few things that we're looking at. We've been down there talking to some of the business owners. I mean, we are reaching out. We want young people. They're going to be the lifeblood of this city.
Young people in this city need things to do. That's why I've been instrumental in getting things off the ground like the Queen Theater, getting more nightlife, more activity. Young people are not afraid to come out on the city streets. They are having a good time downtown. Part of it is this perception issue too. We have a great city. We have a whole lot of stuff going on downtown. You wouldn't know it from listening to some of these guys because it's all gloom and doom. We have a very vibrant scene downtown, Trolley Square, other places. We need to grow that. That's what young people want, is a life after 5 o'clock.
Young people want to feel safe. They want to have some culture and have some ability to go after work and do some things. But we can't have all those activities downtown at the riverfront. We need to expand them to neighborhoods. So when you move into a neighborhood, you can walk down the street to go somewhere, and let's not have downtown be the focal point of all culture in the city.
We need to create more vision and opportunity for young people. We need to have forums with young people in each community association, each community throughout the city. Get their involvement, get their ideas, and get their vision, and collectively work together. That's how we can do it.
Final question. You have to pick your own police chief, and so I would like to know what are going to be your metrics for when you had enough if the police chief is not performing. So to make this much more simple, what are the standards you're going to put in place so that when you know that you have your first record-setting crime year, obviously you may want to go another, but will you go 2 and 3? You have to have some point where you actually literally get into his grill and say, this has to turn around or you're out the door. And I think that's what the public needs to understand. At what point do you step in and say, this is enough and we need to bring someone else in?
Go ahead. You can start, Scott.
Well,
remember, you got 20 seconds left.
We need to have transparency for the effectiveness of the police department. I've said this before, so that we can go on and find out what is the response in our communities. Are all the communities evenly responded to? What is the closure rate? With a homicide unit, we want to find out how many unsolved cases are there and how fast they're being closed. And also, we want to make sure that the police have a track record that is effective in our neighborhood.
Thank you, Scott. Dennis?
First of all, the new chief would have to be very in tune with the clergy and the community, will have to be community orientated and understand and trust the community, and the community will have to trust him. I would probably give that new chief probably about maybe, no exception, 2 years, because it's a mess. They're going to take him a while to get him out of this. But after that, if the mess was still going on, I'd walk him to the door, walk him or her to the door.
Thank you.
The new chief in this city, whoever's the next chief in the city, has to be someone who is really tuned in to finding new ways to fight crime in the city. I do not believe in treating police chiefs like baseball coaches and treating them like a football coach. You've got to invest in that person. You've got to trust that person. I would get rid of a police chief if they lost my trust.
Thank you.
The police chief has to be accountable, and the way you do that, you use a city stat program to have clear metrics of how we're reporting crime. Because right now, individuals in the city of Wilmington have no idea what crime is taking place. We have to hold the captains accountable, lieutenants to sergeants, to patrol persons, and everybody accountable. And at some unacceptable level, you need to make a decision and fire somebody.
Thank you, Robert.
I would like to start at home. We need to look inside our force for a new chief, and then create measures and ways to make this not only the community safer, but the neighborhood safer. I think collectively we can do that with someone at home.
Okay, this is what we're going to do, gentlemen. We have like a few minutes left. I'm going to ask you one economic development question, okay? And then after you answer your question, tell us why we should vote for you. So it's a two-part, okay? There's been a lot of criticism, especially as it relates to downtown, the riverfront, Bettini, Poland, and those guys. I've been hearing a lot of you guys talk about that. What would you do different? I mean, do you not give developers that kind of leeway, or have we been giving them too much leeway? So, Robert, we're going to start with you, and after you answer that question, tell us why we should vote for you, because time is running out. We got 1 minute. So I'm giving you a two-part question in 1 minute.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I can't say it enough. I know we need to take care of our own. We need to start with the citizens and the people of Wilmington. That's how we're going to change the unemployment rate. That's how we're going to bring the city back to be revitalized and flourishing like it used to be. We need to be a proactive government. We need to look out for the people and the families that keep this city going. And why you should vote for Robert Bovell for mayor. Listen, I saw something wrong, and I just wanted to fix it. I was there in 2004 and 2008. I have nothing against this panel up here, but they sat front row. They was on the playing field and done nothing about our current condition. Deploring, downgrading, downspiraling. These are all the negatives that the newspaper and press to put in the paper.
Who sat there and did nothing? What do you mean by that?
Excuse me?
Who
again?
sat there and did nothing?
Well, when I say nothing is if we're still facing the word deficit and downspiraling.
But you said people on the panel. Who?
Well, because current government could have changed this. You know, in 2004, these same people that sat in office could have ran back in 2004 and 2008. Why do we have to wait till somebody's tenure's up before we make a decision to make a change? Why we got to face the deficits that we face before they want to stand up to the challenge? It's called the good old boy syndrome. I think the same business as usual is going to keep going if we keep the same current government. Make the change on September 11th and vote Robert Bovell.
Thank you, Robert. Kevin.
Economic policy has to change from one of driving large corporations to the city to job training for our folks. How do we help that person coming out of jail get a job? How do we create educational opportunities? And at the end of the day, when we're giving money to developers, let's make sure we have clear hiring goals. Why should you vote for Kevin Kelly? How about Mr. Williams, who the real Kevin Kelly is? The real Kevin Kelly's been on council for 20 years. I make no bones about what I've done.
That's right.
I fought the administration. I fought two administrations. I fight for the people is what I fight for. But at the end of the day, you got to look at who's got education experience, who's got budget experience, who takes care of fiscal responsibility. I pay my taxes. I'm even.
Ooh.
I have been.
Who are you talking about?
What goes on here in the city of Wilmington? No one has been in the
That's
communities.
a low blow.
Nobody's been in the communities as much as I have. Nobody's been out there fighting day in and day out, trying to help people better themselves. I listen to people. I have a vision for the city. And at the end of the day, Kevin Kelly is going to bring the city together to solve this crime problem, to give everybody a true cause.
You know the mic is going back this way, right?
Thanks.
Okay. Go ahead, Bill.
You asked specifically about Buccini Poland. Let's tell the folks in the audience what the truth there. Buccini Poland has been the major developer in the city because they stepped forward. They're Wilmington guys who came back home to invest in their city. I think that's what we want to see. They have invested in the last decade $750 million. How much did the city help them with that? The city helped them with 17 million, maybe 18 maximum. We got double that money back before 2009 was over. We're getting another 22 million from all their projects, from all the wage tax and head tax and all that. We'll have another 22 million from those guys before 2016. So I don't apologize for working with them or any other developer. If they want to invest in this city, large or small, come see me.
Why should we vote for you?
Business. Why vote for me? We talked about education, experience, whatever. Yes, I've got those. I think I have much more than anyone on this panel in terms of actually running this city, being the CAO, the operating officer, for a $300 million a year issue here. You've got folks up here, too, with no experience whatsoever, two career politicians who have not really brought home the bacon here for the city in years. So that's your choice. You need to go with experience, and you need to go with someone with commitment and courage to
Mr. Williams?
run the city properly.
Well, I will work with developers, but I don't know if it will be the same ones, and I will find people who want to invest in this city, but again, you have to keep coming back to safety. And talking to Mr. Kelly, the empty suit over there, he's been on city council for 20 years. He hasn't done nothing. Nothing. He hasn't passed one piece of legislation. He had $25,000 for a skate park. Some of those people are senior citizens now because he still hasn't seen a skate park. And I went and just talked to Mr. Montgomery. He had 11 and a half years to do his job. He hasn't done anything. Nothing. And why is he running? All these political gimmicks about law enforcement. Now he wants to be the mayor. He's stuck in Jim Baker's pocket, and I think Kevin's in the other pocket.
Ooh. I got to take a breath here, man. Okay. Scott?
Rebuttal?
Of course. Wait. Hold up. Let the man talk. He got to talk.
In terms of economic development, I want to build on the base of success, but make sure we have the local commitments to our workers and our unions. Go to my website, spencerforthepeople.com. Under letters and speeches, you'll see I've been the one putting out specific initiatives of bringing factories back from China, bringing in a factory to make Amtrak cars, to hire over 300 people here in Wilmington, and also a initiative that will help employ youth. Why should you vote for Spencer for mayor? Well, Scott Spencer is mayor, and as a candidate, is the only one here 100% funded for us, by city residents. I'm here to work for you, so you can be sure I'm unbought and unbossed. I'm out there campaigning. People tell me, well, a lot of these candidates will say one thing and do another and never see them again. But you can be sure I'm here to back you with more jobs, less crime, better neighborhoods, and a vote for me is a vote for you, and a vote for me is a vote for a homicide unit.
Thank you.
How many people have to die before we get that right?
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. And let's give the panel a round of applause. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Alan. I hope the seniors who've been asking me for months that you enjoyed this debate. Again, I want to thank Sammy, Trippy, Kim, and Cherry Congo, the Congo group, for putting this magnificent studio together. Thank you guys, Willie, for coming down, taking your time. Julius, thank you guys. Thank everyone. And again, thank the candidates. I hope you enjoyed.
Can we come back next weekend?
Hell no. Thank you.
You didn't say that on the air, did you?
No, I enjoyed it. No, Hazel told me that was in the Bible. That's what Hazel Plan told me. But I hope everyone enjoyed it. This is Crossfire. I'm out of here. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.